Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Cryptic TNG. We're back with a brand new video. Now again, we're at Interlagos for another daily race on Le Mans Ultimate. I'm in the Corvette. I've got Kevin Seclari and Nico Barkley in front of me. I've got Carl starting beside me in the McLaren, and this race, I can tell you, is going to get super spicy. So trust me, guys, stay tuned for the rest of this race because it does get very interesting. So we're starting in fourth. I actually didn't have a very good quali. I only did like a 34.3, which was a little bit off pace, but still managed to get a decent start. Carl wasn't really in the right place at the start, so I managed to sort of get ahead, almost challenge to get into second place, but the tires were cold, the car just wouldn't grip up. And with the Corvette on the first lap, you have to be a little bit careful because it's very, very slippery, particularly on the first lap when the tires are cold, and I don't feel like it has the same braking capabilities as the Ferrari. So we're up into third position now. There's a guy called Caron who's got behind us, and he actually sent it on the brakes, and I was going to turn in, but he was fully committed, and I just did not have the braking performance at the start of the race. Carl gets to run alongside us now, squeezes us towards the side, and now he's got the run. He had insane straight line speed in this around this track, and we hold it on the inside line. We managed to get back up the inside of Carl, but he holds it around the outside, and this is what I'm talking about on LMU. You really can go side by side through so many corners because there is enough grip that you can make outside maneuvers. So you can see we're literally just, banging and nudging each other pretty much every corner. The only bad thing about that is all those small contacts, even if you bump drive someone, they do count as contact in your after your race for your safety rating, so that can be a little bit of an issue. But you might have seen up ahead Nico Barkley using an absolutely joke of a line into the last corner, and I don't think it invalidates your lap. So basically he just literally just cheated in the last corner, went super wide on the AstroTurf and then just hit the throttle early and got off down the straight. Now that used to be something that people used to do back in F1 2010, so I can't believe that's still going on. But Carl tries to make the move around the outside, and this guy in the Ferrari, bro, I can tell you, he was hyper aggressive. Because in qualifying, I think the top four, I feel like we were quite a decent chunk faster than the rest. But because this guy's managed to get into third, he's literally defending with his life, and he's just going all out aggression. But I think he was maybe about 3 or 4 tenths off, so he's a little bit slower, but he's got track position and he is defending super aggressively. So you're gonna see that. And then me and Carl, literally, I'm waiting for Carl to make a maneuver because Carl had so much straight line speed, it was very hard for me to actually get up alongside him. But the middle sector was where the Corvette was really strong, and out of some of the slow corners, out of the last corner, the Corvette was really good, but did not have the same straight line speed as the McLaren. The Ferrari also was pretty quick in the straight line, so it's even hard to get a run in a Ferrari as well. But the McLaren, with the setup that Carl was running, was insanely fast down the straight. So we kind of had to try and bide our time and see if we can make any movers. Seclari and Barkley are just getting off. We're literally being held up by this guy, and every single lap you're going to see Carl down the straight. He's got an absolute rocket ship. And again, he's got the run on him. He's going to have to take the outside line, which is, of course, slightly longer towards the first corner. But he has to try and get the move done. But as I said before, this dude was crazily aggressive. Now, Carl's actually got the run on the outside, switches in front of him, but just runs a little deep. And then Caron sends it back up the inside. I don't think that was too bad, but I feel like if Carl gets in front, he's got to literally close the door on the inside line and make Caron have to make a completely different move and try and get around the outside, because every time he leaves the door open, he's just getting absolutely sent, and it's another extra lap spent behind this guy, and it's costing us time. And look at the leaders, they have absolutely just gone. Look how far they are ahead already. Insane. And even the guys behind, they're still keeping up with us, and as I said, they were a good chunk slower in quali. So I knew we needed to make a move. We needed to make it quick, and whoever pretty much gets stuck behind this guy is gonna have problems, man. And as you can see, in the middle sector, there's nothing you can do. And it's one thing I do like about Le Mans Ultimate. If you can defend well, it's not that easy to get past, If you don't make the maneuver, if you can't make it stick, it's not that easy to get past. Unfortunately for Carl, he's got a super low downforce setup in the McLaren, and it's allowing him to get a run every lap. But most of the time, most people won't have a setup like that, and they will literally struggle to pass somebody, man. I've seen races on this game for 40 minutes where they just could not get past, you know. But again, Carl gets a run literally every single lap. He's getting the run, and look at these guys, they're so close. Look how much Carl pulls away from me in the straight. Now Carl gets down the inside, holds it down the inside, but I think he brakes slightly too late, and then the cutback's on. And again, just look how aggressive Caron is. He's not leaving any room. As soon as he gets a hint of a chance of trying to make a maneuver, he's straight there. Now we get the run on Carl, and you're going to see the difference in straight line. There is, like, you can sort of get side draft as well, but as soon as we get out of the slipstream, we just can't do anything, you know. And trying to cut back, but Carl places his car well. We're under pressure from the Ferrari behind as well, so this race has just been absolutely insane. You can't make a move on the guy in front because you don't know who's going to end up sending it down your inside if you don't make it. I couldn't even use the pace that I had in the middle sector because I was just bundled up behind Carl and Caron in the middle sector. But as we got to the end of the lap, I desperately wanted to stay much closer to Carl out of the last corner and see if I can get a slipstream. So if these two went side by side again, maybe I'll be able to pick up some of the pieces. But it was extremely hard, man, because once Carl got into the slipstream, he was absolutely gone. But he was so close right here, he could have sent it on the inside, but Caron swerves towards the inside to make sure that he defends it. But look how close we all are now, and you're going to see the McLaren absolutely just get right off. I was just desperately trying to stay in the slipstream. Caron trying to force Carl wide, but Carl every single time is getting this run, and it's just so hard to get the move done because he's running lower downforce. He's not got the braking capabilities probably of the Ferrari, even though Carl is by definition a super late breaker. But again, gets his nose cut off a little bit wide on the curb, and Caron has survived for another lap. But Carl does have a run down the front straight here for the first time. He's had a run down this straight. Will he manage to get the move done? Caron defending again. Carl swerves towards the inside, and Caron just literally he's not leaving any room. And this is giving us a chance. Now we can send it around the outside of Carl. He squeezes us, but we just stay on track. We managed to get down the inside. And again, now it's my turn. And lads, I'm not even gonna lie, I straight decided just to take the first opportunity, send it down the inside, but Caron literally just turns in as soon as he see me move. And I just thought, bro, this guy is he's not even trying to leave a car's width. And I know it looked like I binned him, but I watched the replay, and basically what he did is as soon as he see you move, he just turned in. And the trajectory of his car, he was literally aiming at turning over the grass. He wasn't even trying to go side by side at all. So technically we got rid of the problem and we're actually through. But again, now Carl's in front, and he looked like he had some speed, so it'll be interesting to see what the pace difference was like, whether we was only keeping up because he was behind someone, or whether we had enough pace. Seclari and Barkley 10 seconds ahead. 10 seconds. So we literally just were in a whole complete different race. The pace that we had before when we were stuck behind, 35.7 at this point, was our fastest lap. 35.7, which is insane when you think now my fastest lap around Brazil in race trim is at 34.1. So 1.6 seconds we were off on my best lap time in the Corvette around this track. That's how much we were being held up by. But because we've already spent a good part of the race cooped up, the tyres are not going to be at their best anymore, so we're probably not going to be able to reach those sort of lap times. Those sort of lap times you want to really, the first couple of laps is where you want to pull lap times like that out of the bag when the tyres are fresh. But once the tyres start going off, it becomes a little bit harder to reach them sort of lap times, but we should still be in the 34s, like mid to late 34s once, you know, you start getting a little bit of tyre wear and stuff. But Carl was trying to fly away, I was trying to keep up with him, and I think if we'd have got away at the start and was able to stay in the slipstream of Seclari, I think we probably could have had a battle of four at the front. It would have been pretty tough because their pace was extremely quick. But you know, if you're looking at the leaderboards, a lot of our fastest laps are extremely close. So I think we would have been able to stay with them. As you can see on this lap, we haven't really lost any time to Sakari, pretty much. So we definitely had some good pace. You can see 1.1 seconds up already. As soon as we got clear of the Caron guy in the Ferrari, as soon as we got clear, we were just able to literally straight into the 34s, 34.6. I think we were literally probably about the same pace as the leaders, man. But you know, when you get in a battle, you just lose so much time, man. And as I said, it's not actually that easy to get past. When you think about it, we actually had an incident, which is probably the main reason why we got past. But you know, that's just how it is. The slipstream is not super strong, particularly if you're doing like fixed races. Then it's definitely a lot harder than even what we're doing now. A lot harder to get past people in fixed races. In this race, we were able to run a setup, so it wasn't as bad. And you can see at the moment, we've had a bad start to the lap. We're already 6 tenths down, and Carl's actually bolted through the first sector. For me in the Corvette, what is a struggle is the first and second corner. That's where the biggest struggle in this car is, because the gears are slightly shorter, so it's a little bit awkward in the gearing for turn 2, and that's where I think I lose a lot of the time. But whenever I can nail the first sector, the middle sector is where the car's got so much pace, particularly in the tight corners, the exit speeds. Definitely one of the Corvette's strongest assets. But of course, the straight line speed in the McLaren is what really sets it apart. And you can see Carl actually had a bit of a mare last corner. That's going to help us get a run. Now, my middle sector wasn't actually too bad. My first sector was really bad in this lap, so we've actually managed to close back in. And we closed a little bit on the leader as well, on Sakari, because it actually got up to 11 seconds, but we've actually managed to pull it back to 10.6. So let's see, man. Definitely, I feel like we could have had a much better race if we got clear. But that is the name of the game, is not getting stuck behind people, making sure you take care on the first lap and try and consolidate your position. Because we let that guy through on the first lap, it really did just ruin our race, man. But again, we're still behind Carl. We're hoping that our tyres stay in more, because obviously he's running super low downforce. So we're hoping that our tyres stay in a little bit more for this race. Hoping that through the middle sector I can start making a difference and get towards the back of his car, towards the last corner, and try and slipstream him, even though I've been in his slipstream and it just didn't really seem to be giving anything back. Now, do you think that's something that Le Mans should work on, making the slipstream a little stronger? I'm not too sure, because, you know, watching GT racing, it does tend to be pretty difficult to make overtakes a lot of the time, you know. It's not like F1 where they've got some sort of system that will just help them. It tends to be quite difficult to make overtakes a lot of the time. You've got to be prepared to dive bomb and go really aggressive. But you can see how much we close up in the last corner to Carl. And we've got the run down the back straight, but he's just pulling. He's spending the whole time just literally just getting off down the straight. I could not get anywhere near him into turn 1 to even warrant trying to make a maneuver. Look at the difference in straight line. Absolutely gone. Absolutely gone. We're in the slipstream and we could do nothing about it. And this is pretty much the main place where you're going to make an overtake. So, you know, if he just keeps getting a half decent exit, and even if I got in the slipstream, I don't actually think I would have had enough. I would have had to be literally touching the rear of his car to maybe get a run into turn 1. But still, it was extremely hard trying to get anything done. And his first sector was super strong as well. So literally, I had to make all the time up through the middle and into the last corner. Other than that, he just had way too much straight line. So it was difficult, man, but it would have been very interesting if we'd got away with the others at the front, and, you know, seeing what it would have been like if Carl would have been able to get a run on any of the leaders with that sort of straight line speed. Because you got to think they probably would have been a little more fair in wheel-to-wheel racing than what we saw from the Caron fella, who seemed to just be all-out aggression. But yeah, but again, we've pulled up to the back of Carl, through the section, down the hill where I believe the Corvette was super strong as well, into the last corner. It's all about balancing the throttle, getting the turn in spot on, and try not to let the back end step out too much, because it really does affect your run all the way up the straight. My thing is with this game, it's all about your exits, man. It's all about your exits. A lot of people try and get things done on the brakes, but it's all about the exit and how quick you can get your foot down without the back end stepping out and without, you know, having to run too much traction control where it bogs in and cuts your engine out. But again, you can see through turn 1 and 2 the struggles that I was having, and Carl literally every lap just absolutely bolts and gets off. Now jumping forward, we're still behind Carl, still can't find a way past 4.5 minutes to go. You can see Seclari and them have edged away a little bit, so we haven't been fast enough overall, but again, we've still pretty much been in the same position, not being able to overtake. There's just too big a difference in the straight line, and again, Carl absolutely just bolts down the straight. And at this point I was thinking, yeah, this is pretty much an impossible task. You can see we've actually got the fastest middle sector so far, but there's not really much we can do around the rest of the track to you know, improve, because as you can see, Carl gets a great run out of turn 2 and we're just always way too far back to do anything. And again, very difficult to overtake in the middle sector. You can see what happened when we tried earlier. The car in front is always going to have the advantage, and they can pretty much just turn in, and then you're just either left with making contact or, you know, being stuck on the outside somewhere. So again, very difficult, but I was very happy with how the car felt. I just wish I had a chance to have clear air to see what I could do at the time. At the time of this video, I think my fastest lap was only a 0.5, like a 34.5, but obviously since then with the same setup I've got down to a 34.1, and I think my fastest lap now in quali is a 33.7, which was pretty handy. I feel like the potential that the setup has is probably a 33.5 if I was to put all my sectors together. I've actually got down into a 46.9 in the middle sector, which is pretty decent, man. But have a little bit of a snap there on the exit, and the McLaren, we know what it's going to do down the straight. Only pretty much a couple of laps to go, and you can see Seclari still up in second place, but they've had great pace throughout the race as well. We are kind of up and down, we're not as consistent. 1 minute we're in 34s, then we drop down to 35, so it was something that you really have to work on in these races, man, is trying to keep the consistency, try and keep your tires good, don't be trying to slide too much, putting too much punishment for your tires. I really do like the way on this game, like when you set your car up, you can set your car up and it actually works in exactly the way how you think it should, in terms of, you know, if you want to be like less aggressive on the tires, build a little bit of understeering to the car, is going to help you out at some stage. If you want to go very aggressive, just know, like for instance through this corner on this setup, I know it's very aggressive, and you kind of have to you know, straighten up the wheel midway through the corner, because you can see the rear left tire goes extremely red and the back of the car goes extremely light, so you have to literally balance the car with throttle, steering inputs. I shift early up into 4th just to settle the car down, but if I just kept my foot down, I would probably spin there almost every lap. And I just enjoy the fact that you have to think about the things that you're doing whilst you're driving. The setups do make a big difference, and of course when you do have a setup on, small things can make big differences, you know. Small things that you might click in the setup can be a very big difference, even if it's just one click. So you really have to take time, grind the setups, and try and understand them, because I wouldn't say there's a particular meta like there is for ACC. You just have to grind and figure out what is right for you, try and get your TC settings right and all that good stuff, man. But yeah, definitely enjoying driving this game, definitely enjoying the racing on this game, which to me is second to none. How close you can get, the door banging, the fact you can get aggressive, but also, you know, keep it respectful at the same time. But yeah, it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you're able to pull off certain moves that you just can't really do on a lot of other games, you know. Not without a really willing partner. On ACC, I feel like when you send it around the outside, the guy on the inside's got to almost be accepting of it, and it just, I don't know, man, it's just the will-to-will action on ACC to me is just not the same as what I feel like we get from LMU, man. But yeah, on to the last lap, I think this is. So we've tried our hardest, man. We tried to stay as close as possible, but it was just there was just nothing we could do, man. He was just super fast. This, I feel like, is probably, these two corners right here, probably my best two corners, maybe with the last corner as well. Probably my best corners on the circuit because I seem to gain so much. Or maybe it's just a Corvette thing. I do need to try the McLaren. I actually haven't really done any laps in the McLaren so far, so I need to try it because I can see the car's got potential, and I would say in fixed races, the McLaren is probably the car to beat. So Seclari looks like he actually gets Barkley on the last lap, and Seclari wins the race. Barkley second, Kyle comes home in third, I come fourth, and yeah, that was the race, man. We managed to finish the race in a decent position, pretty much where we started after all that madness. But yeah, I feel like I could have done a lot better. I could have went a lot faster, but you know, we'll take it. As you can see, the guys in front doing 34.1, so their pace was definitely up there. But that would have been early on in the race where they had the clear air. By the time you get to sort of lap 3 and 4, it's very hard to get the fastest lap times done on those tires. But we still managed, once we got free, to do a 34.6. That was like half a second off. But yeah, it was a great race nevertheless. Not sure where that Karen guy finished, or if he finished. I don't think he did finish. No, he did. He finished in 11th. You can see his fastest lap was only a 35.8. So just imagine how much we were being held back, man. But anyway, since then, as you can see in qualify, we managed to get some major pace out of the Corvette, man. And I will be dropping setups on my Patreon page. But anyway, guys, it's CryptoTNG. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to catch our videos first. And peace.